floor right now. I think the last 3 training prep cycles, I have in some way, shape, or form tweaked my back. And the first week on this new phase, we were doing speed squats and speed deadlifts, all with new variables, and those variables being double, for me, double monster minis to a above parallel box wide stance to try and get our hips working and warmed up prior to deadlifting, because from here on out we're going to be doing competition style, which means sumo, and the style of speed squats that we were doing in the past. Every time we got to deadlifting and I would go sumo, I'd be super tight, super wound up. So, and we've been doing minimal to moderate hip strengthening stuff in our accessory work. So after reading Conjugate U and just listening to Coach Harvey's wording and why using wide stance for speed work is so beneficial, decided to try and throw it in this phase of the program. I got a really gnarly back pump on squat, so I knew I was doing something wrong. Watching the video, I couldn't pinpoint anything, wasn't sure if I was going into too much extension. Long story short, I think I was super fatigued going into speed deadlifts and not bracing properly, and then we did snatch grip deadlifts, and by that time my back was really inflamed. And when I went to bed that night, this was this past Friday, not feeling good, and I have not been able to really go into any type of flexion or bracing properly since then. So I am currently hanging and decompressing my back, trying to open my hips up. So that's where I'm at right now. Got a chiropractic appointment today, and that's how week 11 is starting, how week 10 ended and how week 11 is starting. So we're going to go through this whole, I'm not even going to call it a recovery practice or recovery regimen, because this is just a minor sidestep. It's not regressing me or anything like that. I'm still going to be holding on to my strength. And just to show you guys that, like, being a coach and an athlete, I got to listen to myself as an athlete and as a coach at the same time. I've had a lot of athletes getting ready for a meet now that have minor injuries that get bent out of shape and upset when I completely pull out their training, and then they come back stronger. So I'm just practicing what I preach right now, and I'm going to walk you guys through this whole process. So on the way to the chiropractor, this is somebody that Julia actually trained with at Buffalo. So ex-powerlifter. I'm confident and excited, if you will, to work with him, because he understands the sport a lot more than your typical therapist. I don't have access to the individuals I had back at Memphis. So kind of networking, if you will, and seeing who works around here. Still really frustrated about the day that I can't lift. I helped everybody else. I wrapped Julia. Everyone else was getting after it. And even though I don't feel good, like my body can't sustain a heavy load, I still have that drive to lift. So that's a plus. Good news, it's nothing major, okay? Wasn't sure if it was muscular, wasn't sure if it was disc or structural. If anything, it was more structural than it was muscular, but it was the joint. So Dr. Steve, his last name is really difficult to pronounce, used to be a powerlifter, understands the loads and everything that we're dealing with. He thinks it's inflammation of the SI joint, sacrum area. Again, not when it comes to like the real small little areas. He used a lot of the terminologies with the anatomy, whatever. I know the general vicinity, hip area. It was shifted out of line, but it was also really inflamed. So it was shifted and inflamed, so it was locked down. I literally thought something in my body broke when he adjusted me to get me back, and I felt a very sharp twinge right in the area that was bothering me. Um, I'm still sore, and I can move my pelvis through a full range of motion. It's still tender, but it doesn't hurt. Before it hurt, I can bend over, I can go into an RDL. Anyway, aspect that I didn't think about, ice. Not so much anti-inflammatories, but ice, and how much that can help with the low back. Most of the time when I like strain my low back or get a back pump, I don't think to ice it. So icing helped significantly with this. Like, it helped a lot. Doing the hanging and doing the traction, not so much a good thing in this situation. Now, if it causes temporary relief, he said by all means go for it. But if you are stretching those joints, if you are stretching those, he called them facets or faucets or something. I don't know. I screwed the terminology up. I'm going to have to go back and look. So hopefully nobody gets all like pissed off or whatever. Anyway, facets. Nailed it. It opens those up when you hang or when you create traction or even when you sleep on your back and have your knees elevated, which I did all of those things. He goes, it'll give you temporary relief, but the inflammation is still there. It's unloaded. They're not meant to do that, okay? When you're loaded, walking around, they are meant to be loaded in that position. When you're hanging upside down, your body, your spine is not meant to go through movement in that position. Yes, you're opening it up. Yes, it's creating relief because it's taking tension off of it. But guess what? Right when you're done doing that, you have to put tension back on when you stand up. So he said it was good for temporary relief, but to rely on that solely and keep doing it over and over and over again, that could cause problems. So good to know on that. That is going to be not a first step for me from here on out if I have a back strain. But yeah, I'm not out of the meat. He said to start training again right away. I'm going to see him one more time to make sure everything is proper and firing right and stable, and just play it by ear. I'm not going to get under a crazy heavy squat or anything like that. I'm going to bench on Wednesday. I'm going to take it until if there is any discomfort, extension of my back does not hurt. So I'm good there. So that's the update for today, and we're going to keep on trucking.